What's good, y'all? Welcome to my review for Takeover War Games 2020. And man, overall, Takeover War Games this year was fucking phenomenal, man. I absolutely had a blast watching Takeover, even though NXT hasn't really felt the same in like months, whether it's because of the pandemic, Morrow leaving, or whatever the case may be. NXT has not felt the same in a while. But man, Takeover was still becoming close. Like, I feel like this Takeover, out of all the Takeovers we've gotten in like this pandemic era, from In Your House to now, I feel like this one was the most Takeover-esque Takeover we've gotten in a while. Whether that was because it's War Games or what, I don't know. But I absolutely loved War Games this year, man. It was now, would I say it was better than the last 2 years? Probably not. I probably wouldn't go that far and say that the previous 2 years were better. Takeover were better. I say those 2 years were better overall Takeovers, but this show was once again phenomenal in its own right, and I would say it was definitely better than Full Gear this year if you guys were to ask me. Anyway, let's just jump right in there and we go from there. So we started off the show with the women's War Games match between Team Candice and Team Shotzi. I absolutely fucking love this match, man. This was honestly probably match of the night for me, and probably a lot of you too, because the men's War Games match was great and the rest of the card was great in their own way. But this was the good shit right here. So you also had Shotzi get a new tank out there, and she like fired some shit at Dakota. Great shit there with the entrance right there. So we started off the match. It was Dakota versus Ember. Now, the one thing I actually found kind of interesting about this match is that we had the whole War Games Advantage ladder match thing, which we've been doing for the last since War Games has been a thing. Now, the one thing that's always been kind of interesting with these is that usually the heels win because the heels advantage, have the baby faces come back, this, that, and the third. But this time we actually had Shotzi win, and the baby faces had the advantage. Now, they ended up losing the match, which is probably the reason why they were given the advantage. But I like that they actually got the baby faces the advantage once, because I remember from pretty much since last year, when War Games came around last year, I always kind of hoped one day the baby faces would win the ladder match, just for a change of pace, just to see how that would work, and we finally got that with this match. So, like I said, you had Ember and Dakota going at it. They absolutely kill each other. All of the women throughout this match absolutely kill each other. So, of course, as everyone gets in there, then we get to Io. So, Io tries to get into the ring. The whole time, Raquel Gonzalez, I don't know why I was slipping on her name for so long. Raquel Gonzalez is desperately trying to keep her out of the ring. She's like pushing her out, kicking her with hitting her with chairs. She's tried all this shit, and Io cannot get. Eventually, Indy Hartwell shows up, locks up the door, so she can't get in at all. And then she actually puts the key in like her bra, and she's like, "Oh, if you want the key, come and get it." And the rest like, "What's wrong with you?" And so they're going, so they go at it, and Io's still trying to get in there. I was wondering if we were actually going to get another one of the moonsault spots where Io does a moonsault from on top of the cell, which we did not get, but we got something that was honestly low-key probably even cooler than that moonsault she did at TakeOver last year, low-key. So, she eventually gets up there. What she ends up doing is putting a trash can on top of her, she just puts a trash can on top of her, and then just dives out there completely blind, hoping to God they all catch her, which they did, and it looked fucking amazing, man. That spot was probably the spot of the night for me, man. Either that or the other spot with Ember Moon, which we'll get to that in a second. We also got another one with Shotzi I want to talk about real quick. So that was absolutely amazing. Like I said, I remember when I saw that, I was like, man, I wish Morrow was still doing commentary, because my God, would he lose his mind at that spot, man? Oh my God, Bob Baby! That would have been so fucking cool, man. But I miss Morrow, man. I absolutely miss Morrow. Hopefully one day he comes back. Or I hear him in something, because I need my Morrow fix, man. I need my Mamma Mia's. Anyway. Anyway, so you had that amazing stuff. Then you also have one where I believe it was Dakota, where she like stomps on, or no. I think it was actually Tony, or it might have been Raquel. But one of the women actually ended up stomping on Io when she had the trash on top of her, completely like, crunching it up in there, and she tried to like take her out to get the pin, but she was like struggling, legit, like, she was in there, man. And then you also had this other one where Io actually brought in a ladder, and then we saw Shotzi, put Candice on top of these chairs. And so she climbs up the ladder, she has another chair with her, I believe. Or, no, I think she might just went there up there. But actually, I don't know if any of y'all noticed this, but if you paid attention to this spot, you could actually see Candice moving around, grabbing a chair, putting it on top of her, and then motioning Shotzi to jump. Like, you can actually see her if you actually pay attention. You actually look. I noticed that. I just couldn't help but laugh a little bit. I was like, exposing the business a little bit there, Candice. I don't know. I thought that was kind of cool that she actually starts motioning for her to do it. Oh man, I actually got a pretty good laugh out of that one. I thought that was kind of funny. Cool, but also kind of funny. So she does that. You had Ember Moon. This might have actually been the spot of the night. If it ain't the trash can spot with Io, it's this spot where you have Dakota draped over the steel chair, and Ember Moon from the top rope hits and he clips on the chair. It looked fucking brutal, man. I absolutely loved it. But anyway, we end the match off with Io Raquel hitting that choke slam power bomb thing she does into into a ladder that was in no man's land, and getting the pin. Now, what could this mean for the future? Because there was a lot of because Jay mentioned in his review how there's a lot of moving parts to this match. Could this mean that we actually end up seeing a match between Raquel Gonzalez and Io Shirai for the women's title? There's a very good chance we can do that since she did pin the champion. We'll have to figure out that in the coming weeks of NXT. But this match was absolutely fucking phenomenal, man, and I loved every second of it. And yeah, man, I'm hyped to see what's next in store for Io and the Aftermath Takeover on NXT next week. So anyway, afterwards we then actually had Timothy Thatcher versus Tommaso Ciampa. This was a match I honestly didn't think I was going to enjoy that much, because I'm not the biggest fan of Timothy Thatcher. He just really ain't my kind of thing. However, he's been really starting to grow on me with these like Thatch Can segments he's been doing. I've been really digging them. So I'm slowly growing. So I'm slowly growing to Timothy Thatcher. He's a great wrestler, but I just don't really see myself that invested in him, But anyway, the match itself was phenomenal. At first, it started off with a love chain wrestling between Ciampa and Thatcher, but eventually started picking up there where Ciampa hit like a guillotine when he was like right into by the ropes, and then I think that's when he transitioned to like Willow's Bell. You also had like these guys clothesline each other off the top rope and everything. The match itself was just great. It started off very technical, but then it kind of really started to pick up the pace in the latter half of the match. And I really love the ending where Ciampa transitions. I forget what exactly he did. I think it might have been the guillotine in the ropes, and he transferred that into Willow's Bell to finally get the pin. He won the match with Willow's Bell, which I love. I love seeing Willow's Bell every time Ciampa does, man. Such a decisive finishing maneuver, man. I love it. So Ciampa wins the match, and then we'll figure out what's up with him next in the coming weeks of NXT. I don't know if this was actually right after this part of the match, but I want to talk about this anyway, real quick. But we did find out that it looks like Karrion Kross is going to be making his return back to NXT relatively soon, judging from we got this whole video package with the clock and a vulture and everything. So I assume he's coming back relatively soon. Does that mean he's coming back to NXT, or will he just debut on the main roster and go show up in the Royal Rumble or something? We'll have to wait and see on that. But anyway, after that we then had the strap match between Cameron Grimes and Dexter Lumis. Which, by the way, one other thing I want to mention before we jump right into the Dexter Lumis match is that the match between Ciampa and Timothy Thatcher was also very stiff. Like Ciampa hit this knee to the face that actually made Timothy Thatcher's ear bleed a little bit, and it looked really cool. So the match, like I said, was great, and yeah, very stiff. Definitely really enjoyed that. But I almost forgot because I had to bring up that blood spot, because that knee he did looked. That thing looked. Yeah. But anyway, I love Ciampa. So anyway, to the Dexter Lewis match. This match was also really good in its own right. The strap match, which, man, it's kind of funny how you see how both Cameron Grimes and Dexter Loomis were both in the breakout tournament last year, I believe. Both of them didn't end up winning it. I believe Cameron Grimes came in second. I don't even really remember when Dexter Loomis got eliminated. I think it was earlier on in that tournament. But yet but it's crazy how both of them didn't win. And yet, look where they are now in NXT and the positions they now are done. Cameron Grimes and Dexter Lewis are some of the best things on NXT currently, outside of, of course, your Johnnies, Ciampas, and your Damian Priestes. And yet, Jordan Miles could have been in the same situation if the man knew how to keep his fucking mouth shut and take care of his business properly. I know I'm beating a dead horse, bringing up Jordan Miles, but fuck Jordan Miles. He's a piece of shit, jackass, ungrateful little bitch. Fuck him. Anyway, and I'll take any moment I can to shit on him. So, anyway, I had to get that out there. Sorry, but I had to, because fuck Jordan Miles. Super ACH. How dare I use that slave name that you gave yourself, you fucking idiot. Anyway, with that all being said, this match is really good. So first off, you had Cameron Grimes. Woo! Cameron Grimes! I'm going to the moon! I love Cameron Grimes. And legit, he's become one of my favorite parts of NXT. I love listening to him. So he comes in there. He's got his own strap, around his neck, and the rest tell him like, "Oh, fam, get that strap off. I got my own strap." He has it in this black bag. And he's like, "No, we will use my strap." And then they argue for a bit. Then he just says, "My strap or no strap." So, and then he asked Dexter, like, "Are you okay with using this strap?" And he didn't really give an answer. So he started to put it on, but then he started to attack Dexter Loomis, and then they went off from there. So they were going at it for a bit. They were mostly using the strap to just throw each other into walls. That's a lot of what this match ended up being. Was just, let's use the strap. Now, obviously, they used it to whip each other with it. But a lot of time, they were just throwing each other into the barricade and whatnot. So, which looked really cool, and I really enjoyed them just throwing themselves at the barricade. Everyone looked really cool. It's just the first time where Dexter Lewis just tossed Cameron Grimes right there, and barricade legit moved 6 inches or whatever. Looked amazing. But anyway, so Dexter Loomis locks in a submission on Cameron Grimes. Cameron struggles to break free. Oh, and you also had Cameron using the sack that actually, or the bag that the original ref strap was used in, that he had to, and used it to blind Dexter Loomis. He also used the strap to blind him. He put it over his mouth, his eyes, all that shit. But eventually Dexter Loomis managed to get his submission in there on Cameron Grimes. Cameron tried to break out of there by trying to get the strap off of him, but Dexter countered it by wrapping the strap around his eye so he couldn't see, and he eventually tapped out. So Dexter Loomis wins. I'm loving both these guys. Curious to see if Dexter Loomis is now going to be put into the North American Championship picture now. I do believe he deserves to at least get a shot at the current moment because he's been such a great part of NXT, and just such a just always great to always see Dexter Loomis. I've been loving every time he's on screen. So yeah. Cameron Grimes, like I said, I'm also loving him, and I've been really digging the storyline between the two of them. It's really fun. I love Cameron Grimes, man. That's especially in Halloween Havoc when they had their little match, that House of Horrors match. Absolutely loved it. And Cameron Grimes is just running away. Absolutely loved it, man. Loved it. But anyway, so let's move on to Johnny Gargano, Leon Ruff, and Damian Priest. Now, as you guys may know, on NXT, right after, I want to say Halloween Havoc, Johnny Gargano had defended his title to finally get rid of the curse. He picked Leon Ruff, who was a glorified jobber, and ended up losing the belt to Leon Ruff. If you guys follow me on my Twitter, you guys know that I did not like this change. I did not like this. I was very pissed off that the game did my man Johnny Gargano so dirty. JD was another guy that absolutely hated this decision, and was like, why are you doing this if you have no plans for him? Because it was revealed that they don't have any plans. They really just hot shot the child just for hoping of a quick rating against AEW, whatever the case may be. I hate it, and I never once believed him as once his champion. Now, with him being a triple threat match. And I'm not going to diss the guy that much. In the ring, he is great. But I just don't buy him being like, an actual, champion and all. That's just me. That's the way he's been booked, and I don't buy it. But him in the triple threat match was really good and made him a little bit more believable. We'll talk about the Ghostface shit in a bit. So they started the match, and like the early parts of the match, it's mostly just Johnny and and Damian Priest just going at. But Johnny looked like he was dressed up as like the Cleveland Browns, who actually won their game against. What the hell were they winning? I think they were going against the Giants or no, I think they went against the Jets. Either way, the Browns won their game today. So anyway, so Johnny looked like he was dressed as the Browns. I don't know for sure, but it looked like it judging from the colors. So correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. But anyway, so at first it's just Johnny and Damian Priest going at each other and just like moving Leon Ruff out of the way whenever he showed up. Anytime he showed up, they kind of just got him out of the way and just told and you acted like he was not there, like he was just a gnat. He was not important. He was not a real threat to any of these guys. And he didn't even bother with it. Leon Ruff takes offense to this and tries to get involved in the match, but usually Damian Priest just pushes him out of the way or whatever. Eventually, Leon starts to throw some hands, and eventually gets the attention of Damian Priest, so that they start going at it eventually. And then he just like does like raises it into the barricade with Leon Ruff on Leon Ruff, and which like takes him out for the match for a couple minutes. But he eventually comes in there, and that's when it kind of comes to be more of a traditional triple threat match where all three opponents are getting their kicks in and everything, getting their spots in and everything. Which, by the way, I gotta give Leon Ruff this credit on this one thing. You guys know how Dean Ambrose used to do like the one thing where he would like go into go in between the ropes, pull himself back up there, and hit a clothesline, or when Kofi goes where it looks like Kofi's gonna go for like a suicide dive or whatever, he like hits against like the top rope and kind of like stops himself, bounces back, lands on his feet. Leon Ruff legit went head first into the ropes, bounced back from it, and hit a clothesline. It looked fucking phenomenal. I was like, what the fuck? It looked absolutely amazing. That was like probably one of the best spots of the night. The best spot was when we had him do that, leading right into Johnny's super kick, and I think Damian Priest hit like a I think he actually hit like a finisher on him as well too. But when Leon went for like that, hit the rope, and then he led right into a super kick from Johnny Gargano, bro. And so. Anyway, the one thing I was the most concerned about with this match was that Leon Ruff might actually retain the championship here instead of giving it back to Johnny or whatever. So every time Leon would get like a cover, especially like he did like a devastating move, or when he hit that that crucifix again, that pin Johnny would, I felt like my heart legit stopped for a moment until Johnny actually kicked out. Legit, I damn near had a heart attack watching this match. But eventually, Johnny wins. You also had Damian Priest get like Johnny locks him into the ropes and. And he tries to, and like Johnny hits the Gargano escape, but Damian like kind of like rolls his way up the ropes and then manages to free himself. You then of course had a bunch of Ghostface coming into the ring like it's fucking Scream 3. Was that the confusing one that had a bunch of different Ghostfaces that no one really knew which one was which at any given time in that movie, or was that Scream 2 or was that Scream 4? I don't know. I feel like I think there was one Scream movie that was a little convoluted on who was Ghostface at which time, I think. I might be wrong on that, but correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure there was one of the Scream movies that was like that. Anyway, so you had all these Ghostface coming in there to take care of, that got rid of Damian Priest, which he did like this tope off this corner tope. It looked amazing, man. You had all these Ghostface going in the ring, man. It was absolutely fucking batshit insanity. I loved it, man. I don't know why we've got so many Ghostface going on right here. I don't know, but hey, I like it. I like me some Scream. I like me some Ghostface. So hey, I'm not going to complain too much. So they're going at it. So they're going at it back and forth, and then eventually Johnny manages to hit the one final beat to, of course, win the match, pinning Leon Ruff, and once again becoming the North American champion. Overall, this was honestly an amazing match by the end of it. And Leon Ruff's probably going to be the jobber. I'm just happy Johnny's champion again. And for the love of God, Triple H, let Johnny retain. Please! Let my man Johnny have one retain in his career. Please! Do not do my man Johnny dirty again. Please, Triple H. I'm begging you, Hunter. Please! I'm begging you, man. I'm begging you. And then it was revealed who finally Ghostface really is, and it ends up being Austin Theory. So it looks like we're gonna have like a bit of a Gargano family dynamic going on because you have Candice with Indy Hartwell and you got Johnny with Austin Theory. Which, by the way, is it just me or does Austin Theory and Johnny Gargano look like they could pass off as brothers? Because I didn't notice this, but when you saw Johnny and Austin Theory right next to each other, yo, they look very similar. Their facial features and everything, like, they looked very similar. Like, they could low-key pass off as brothers if they really wanted to. I found that kind of strange. I don't know if any of y'all noticed that or not, or if I'm just going crazy, but I found that kind of be interesting. So then we finally had the main event between the Undisputed Era and Pat McAfee's team. This match was once again phenomenal. I absolutely love this match. Pat McAfee, like, once again impressed us all. Like, he impressed me at Takeover 30 when he did all that crazy shit, but here he was even more impressive. First off, my man out here does a picture-perfect moonsault. This man looks like he's legit levitating in the air when he hit that shit. I was sitting there just in awe. I'm like, my God, that is quite possibly the greatest moonsault I've ever seen. Like, I don't even think Eo's moonsault looks that good. Like, damn. And then my man decides he's fucking Jeff Hardy and does a swanton bomb off the top of the fucking cage. I saw that, I'm like, this man's absolutely mad. So you had that as well. You also had the UE debuting these new like red T-shirts they had. I don't know if they're on the net, if they're on the shop yet. I checked right as the match was going on, right when I saw them. They weren't there, so I don't know if they've been added since. But I want that shirt. That shirt looks fucking cool. So the guys start going at it eventually once everyone else gets into the ring. You had like Pete Dunne hit his finisher on top of Adam Cole that was on a chair, like his midsection hit like the top of a chair. How the man is still breathing properly, I don't know that. Oh, man, was cringing hardcore when I saw that spot. You of course eventually got the classic working spot where all the guys kind of like face up against each other before they just start punching each other. I always love that spot, man. That's always one of my favorite parts of War Games. But the one thing I did not like about this match is that, okay, first off, Pat McAfee goes for a Panama Sunrise, but he can't get it off, and Adam Cole counters it. Then Adam Cole goes for a Panama Sunrise, hits it, but Pat McAfee counts out at 2. Keep in mind, this is around the end of the match, and the match ended up with, like, Kyle O'Reilly getting, like, a knee on, like, I want to say it was Oney Lorcan to win the match. Why did Pat McAfee kick out of the Panama Sunrise? Because that legit surprised me. And that did not sit well with me. It didn't with JD either. And I was just like, I don't know if I like that. Like, or buy that rather. Because, you know, guys like Johnny Gargano or Tommaso Ciampa or an Adam Cole or, not Adam Cole, but like an fucking Aleister Black, those guys like a championship takeover match. Those guys I can buy kicking out of a Panama Sunrise. But Pat McAfee, a punter that's only been in his second match, I don't know. I don't know why that didn't just end the match. That didn't sit right with me. And yeah, man, that's about everything I gotta say about Takeover. About Takeover War Games this year. Fantastic. Although JD did bring up a good point throughout the early part of this review on whether or not War Games should be like an annual thing, or they should save it when it really matters, kind of like something like Hell in a Cell. Now, for me personally, Hell in a Cell is something I do think should probably be taken off the calendar and be used only when it needs, because that's like the blow-off. That's the blow-off match of all blow-off matches is Hell in a Cell. So, I don't know. Hell in a Cell is something I can definitely agree with, but War Games, I personally think that should stay annual as like a thing in November or I guess now December for you know, as just a tradition, an annual thing that's done every December is War Games. I like War Games, or rather, I love War Games, but we'll have to wait and see on that. But he did bring up a really good point on that. Anyway, guys, that is the end of my review. Tell me down below you guys thought of Takeover War Games. Did you love it? Did you hate it? What was your match of the night? What did you think was your favorite spot? Are you happy that Johnny Gargano is once again champion? Hope to God he actually stays that way for at least one defense. Sasha Banks broke her curse, so hopefully maybe Johnny can do the same. We'll have to wait and see on that. Anyway, guys, overall I'm going to give Takeover War Games a 10 out of fucking 10. So hope y'all enjoyed the video. Leave a like if you did, subscribe if you're new. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, playlist, description box below. And as always, come back for more. See you guys next time.